Hello class. Good day to each and everyone. So I hope you are ready to listen to this pre-recorded video in our subject environmental science. So in this pre-recorded video, as you can see in the first slide, so we will talk about more on one of the most important environmental system that we have, the atmosphere. Okay, so pag-uusapan natin kung ano ba yung mga concepts related or behind our very own atmosphere. So ano ba yung role na ginagampanan ng atmosphere? So how are we polluting our atmosphere, and ano ba yung mga kanilang layers. So we'll get to know more about atmosphere. So we're done with the first three environmental systems. So una-una natin yung biosphere, okay, all the forms of life. Then we're also done with the lithosphere, okay. We connected those biosphere and lithosphere to our previous topic, which is about the hydrosphere. And in this discussion, we will try to connect the last environmental system, which is the atmosphere. Okay, so sit back and relax, and I am encouraging you while watching this video to jot down notes. Kasi 'di ba, on Monday during our synchronous session, so we're going to have the Q&A about this discussion para malaman ko if talagang pinanood nyo to. Kasi class, sobrang daming information ang makukuha nyo po dito. Okay, punong-puno ito ng information about our atmosphere. So, kung medyo papangunahan ko na kayo, medyo mahaba to. So, you can choose to watch this in two settings. So, pwedeng kalahati muna for this time. Then, some other time within this week, so pwedeng panoorin niyo yung kalahati. Kasi punong-puno po ito ng information. So kung i-run through natin to in an online session, so aabotin tayo ng dalawang synchronous schedule. So kukulangin na tayo sa time. So that is why I prefer to record this discussion para you can watch it in your most convenient time. Ano po? So let us start. So again, I have here a picture. Okay, so I know you have an idea of what the picture is all about. So during our synchronous session, I'll be asking you about the things that you know about our atmosphere. Okay, so you jot down notes, all the things, the phrases that you can associate with our very own atmosphere. So, 'di ba, on our nung mga nauna nating discussion, we already define atmosphere. And let us recall that atmosphere is a blanket of gas, okay, that surrounds the entire planet and extends to the edge of the space. So, eto daw na itong atmosphere nito, it's a gas, blanket of gas na parang sa atin, nakapalibot. Ayan. So, meron itong role na ginagampanan. So, we will try to understand those role. Ano po? So, in the atmosphere, it includes air. Okay? It also includes wind. So, by the way, what's the difference between air and winds? So, moving air is what we call winds. So, once na nag-move ang air, tawag na po natin dyan ay winds. Okay? So, in the atmosphere, we also include precipitation or the rain. So, even though yung precipitation is part, kasi it's rain, so it's part of the hydrosphere, so dyan nagkakaroon ng overlapping. Ayan, nagkakaroon ng overlapping between atmosphere and hydrosphere. So, once na nag-precipitate, ayan, so mahulog siya sa ground, so it is now part of the hydrosphere. And also, sa atmosphere, included din po yung mga clouds. Ayan. So, once na nag-condense yung mga water vapor, so they are now part of the atmosphere. So, kasama din po sa atmosphere natin, class, yung tinatawag nating aerosols. Ayan. So, aerosols, these are tiny particles suspended in the air such as dust. Ayan, yung mga dust particles, and etong mga smog. So, eto naman, mga pollutants yan na nasuspend sa air. So, i-discuss natin yan dito sa video na to. Ano po? So, also, atmosphere is an envelope of air that surrounds the earth and where all weather events happen. So isa sa pinaka-interesting part ng atmosphere is that dito po sa part na to nangyayari ang halos lahat ng weather events. Ayan, yung formation ng typhoon, ayan. So dito nangyayari yung yung mga weather events na yun. And to give you a picture, a slice, ayan, I have here a picture. Okay, this is a slice through the Earth's atmosphere viewed from space. So, para siyang prism, 'di ba? Ang prism, it's a glass na kapag tinatamaan ng light, okay, nare-refract niya yung light, okay? So, it's just like a glass kasi 'di ba? It's an air. So, hindi natin yun nakikita. Okay? But okay, so pag tinamaan siya ng light, especially yan sa mga sa northern part, sa mga North Pole, ayan yung mga northern lights, ayan yung aurora borealis, ayan. So kapag tinamaan yung ng light, yun yung nakakapag-form ng aurora. Ayan, so sana makakita tayo. So walang aurora dito sa atin kasi sobrang init. Nakikita lang siya sa mga polar regions. Ayan. So, ayan na po yung slice ng natin. It's viewed from space. Ayan, ng mga ng telescope and mga anong tawag natin doon, yung mga nasa outer space na naka-situate, mga satellite, ayan. So, pinicturan po nila kung anong itsura ng ating atmosphere. Okay, so continue. So, para ma-connect natin, 'di ba? Everything is interconnected to everything else. That's one of the most important environmental principles. Ano po? So, do you think our previous lesson on biosphere, lithosphere, and hydrosphere are related or connected to our current discussion in this video? So, I'm going to ask you that. Okay? Please prepare for this question. And of course, this question is a yes or no question. So, if you say yes, of course, there's a follow-up question. If yes, why do you say so? So, I'm going to ask you situations wherein you will connect the biosphere, the lithosphere, the hydrosphere, and the atmosphere. So, ngayon, 4 na ang i-connect. Dun sa mga previous lessons natin, yung first 2, then yung first 3. So, ngayon, yung 4 na yung i-connect nyo. How the 4 environmental systems are connected with each other. You give me a specific situation na nagpapakita ng kanilang interconnection. Okay? So, I'll be happy to hear from you. So, base dun sa mga diniscuss na natin. And dito sa discussion natin na mangyayari, ano ba yung mga naiisip nyong situation sa kapaligiran natin that is showing the interconnections of these 4 environmental systems. Okay? So, let me proceed. So, katulad ng mga ginagawa natin dun sa 3 nauna, so identify the different subsystems that we need to study in terms of atmosphere. So first of all, we need to study its layer. Ayan, para maintindihan natin kung bakit nagbe-behave ng ganun yung atmosphere natin. Ano ang meron doon sa iba't ibang layers ng atmosphere. Okay, so this is a very simple, because this is just a recall of your Earth Science High School, yung iba't ibang layers ng atmosphere. Ano po? So also, we'll cover in this video the system of its composition. Again, this is a recall but merong deepened discussion about its composition. Okay, so we will discuss its composition. Also, we'll try to find out saan nanggagaling yung mga air pollutants. Ayan. So, bakit kaya sabi natin ngayon, as of this moment, our air is yung air natin per se in the atmosphere is being polluted. So, saan nanggagaling yung mga pollutants na yun? Ano po? So, we will try to understand the different environmental issues. So, dito, ang kaibahan naman nung previous lesson natin, dito, i-discuss ko mostly yung mga environmental issues related to atmosphere. Kaya siya masyadong mahaba. Okay, unlike nung nakaraan yung hydrosphere, you study the different environmental issue, pero dito iba naman. Okay, iba naman yung setup nung last activity na ibibigay ko, which is on atmosphere. So dito, in this video, I will cover the different environmental issues related to atmosphere. Okay? And also, Ayan, so hindi siya included dito sa video, but on our next, I think last synchronous schedule, we will discuss the system of climate change kasi this is very much related to atmosphere. Kasi eto, may kinalaman yung atmosphere, bakit tayo nagkakaroon ng climate change. Okay? So another subsystem under the atmosphere that we will try to understand is the system of its solution to issues. So kung merong mga issues, dapat tayong mag-identify ng mga solution. So etong dalawang subsystems na ito, okay, we will cover this on our next synchronous. Ano po? So, eto muna, first 4 ang i-cover natin dito sa video na ito. Again, this is quite long. So, you can watch this in two settings. Ayan. Pwede yung kalahati ngayon, then next naman kung kailan nyo gustong panoorin yung kalahati. Ano po? So, let us start with the system of its layer. Okay? So, as you can see here, this is the Earth's this is the layer of Earth's atmosphere, our very own atmosphere. So this is the first system. So do you have an idea kung ano ang pangalan nitong mga na to? Sige nga, bago ko i-reveal kung ano ba yung mga iba't ibang layers ng ating atmosphere. So can you give me one layer in the atmosphere na naaalala nyo? Sige nga. Ayan, you can jot down all the layers that you know. Ayan, so sana may naalala kayo. Ano po? Because this is just a review. So to give you mnemonics, so para mas maalala nyo yung iba't ibang layers ng atmosphere. So I have here a mnemonics, my very own mnemonics. So pag sinabi natin class mnemonics, ito yung parang acronym siya on how you will remember kasi hindi pwedeng magkabarabaliktad yung layer kasi pag pinagbarabaliktad mo, iba na yun. So eto kasing layer na ito, meron niyang iba't ibang characteristic or property. So hindi natin yan dapat binabali-baliktad. So the mnemonics that I have here is TSMT. Ayan. So yan yung sinasabi nyo kapag punta kayo ng SM tas kasama nyo yung ate nyo. TSMT. So ganon, joke yon. So sana nakuha nyo yung joke ko. Ayan, pang matalino yung joke na yon. So kidding aside, so this mnemonic will give you the different layers of atmosphere. So wag niyo tong kakalimutan. So T stands for troposphere. Okay? So it extends simula sa lupa na kinakatayuan natin until 11 kilometers. So dito yan po yan. Ayan, so nakikita nyo tong part na to, this is our troposphere. So, mostly ang matatagpuan sa troposphere ay iyong mga water vapor. Remember nyo, doon sa water cycle, once na nag-evaporate ang water sa body of water, it will become water vapor. So, matatagpuan yan, class, sa layer ng troposphere. Okay? So, another layer that we have here, so we have the stratosphere. Ayan. So, dito lang yan sa part na yan. It extends from 11 kilometer to 50 kilometer. So, simula dito, ayan, hanggang 50 kilometers, dyan po natin matatagpuan yung very thin layer of our ozone. Ayan, the ozone layer. So, mamaya, maintindihan nyo kung ano ba ang silbi ng ozone layer in our atmosphere. Okay, so S for stratosphere. By the way, the TSMT starts from the lowest, okay, the troposphere. Okay, so the next here, we have the M, or the mesosphere. Ayan, so ito naman na mesosphere class, it extends from 50 kilometer to 80 kilometer. So, simula dito, papunta dito. Ayan, so ito naman ang karakteristik naman dito naman po nagbe-burn ang mga meteors. Okay? Kasi there is something to do with its temperature. Ayan, so dito sa part ng mesosphere, yung temperature niya dyan, kung bakit nagbe-burn ang mga meteors, mamaya malalaman nyo. Ano po? So another layer, we have the T. So, we have the thermosphere. Ayan. So, meron kayong idea. Pag sinabing thermo, there's something to do with thermal or mainit. Ayan. So, it extends from 80 kilometer to 110 kilometer. So, dito din po matatagpuan yung mga auroras or mga northern lights. Ayan. Sabi ko kanina, wala sa atin nito kasi matatagpuan lang po ito sa mga polar regions. Ayan. So, dito makikita ang mga auroras. Ayan. So, another, we have the exosphere. Ayan, ito po yung exosphere. Ito naman, it extends from 500 kilometer. Ayan, ito na yan. Ito na, palagpas na ng, ng edge, ng, papunta na ng space. Ayan, so, 500 kilometers to 1,000 kilometer. So, dito naman, class, sinisituate yung mga satellites. Okay? Kasi po, among these 5 layers, dito po pinaka-stable sa part ng atmosphere, dito po sa exosphere. Kasi wala na dyan gaanong disturbances. Ayan. So, kaya dyan pinuposition yung mga satellites para makakapture ng malinaw na images. Ayan, malinaw na image ng Earth, at saka mga iba pang celestial bodies. So, kaya dyan nakaposition yung mga satellites. Remember the different things that can be found in each layer. Ano po? So, sa troposphere, water vapor. Sa strato, matatagpuan ang ozone layer. Sa mesosphere, doon nagbe-burn ang mga meteors. And sa thermosphere, matatagpuan ang mga auroras. And sa exosphere, dito sinisituate ang mga satellites. Kasi stable na yung sa part ng exosphere. Okay? So, this is another picture of our very own atmosphere. Ayan. So my question now is that bakit kaya sa tingin nyo, okay, why do you think the different layers our atmosphere is divided into layers? So ano kaya sa tingin nyo, class, yung naging basehan, based on this picture, ano yung naging basehan ng pag-divide ng mga layers? Sige nga. So what's the basis in dividing these different layers? Okay? So sana nakukuha nyo dito sa picture. So the basis for dividing the layers of our atmosphere is the temperature difference. Okay? So dito sa part, ayan. So simula sa simula sa lupa na kinakatayuan natin hanggang 11 kilometers, class. Ayan, so malamig po. Okay? So, especially, that is ranging from 0 to negative 50 degrees Celsius. So, ibig sabihin, malamig-lamig siya kasi nga nag-negative na po. So, pagdating ng stratosphere, na kung saan, ayan, tingnan nyo, na kung saan matatagpuan yung ating ozone layer, there is a difference in the, temperature. Although malamig siya, pero mas malamig, ayan, tingnan nyo tong, itong red na to. Ayan, mas malamig yung part ng troposphere compared sa stratosphere. Pagdating, habang tumataas ng mesosphere, ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, bakit yung mga shooting star ay nababurn dito? Kasi po, biglang nagkakaroon ng fluctuation. Okay, lumalamig dito sa part na ito. Okay? Kasi nga po, yung temperature na dito is negative 93 degrees Celsius. So, malamig na po. Kaya, bago pa man makadating yung mga meteors sa surface ng Earth, nabe-burn na sila kasi sobrang lamig dito. And then, pagdating ng thermosphere, ayan, there is a sudden, large temperature fluctuations. Ayan. So, sabi ko nga kanina, from the word thermo, umiinit po dito sa part na ito. Okay? So, hanggang makarating ng exosphere, so that is 1,727 degrees Celsius. So, yun po, class, ang basihan ng pag-divide ng ating Of course, our scientists studied this. So, meron silang mga basis kung bakit nila dinivide yung ating atmosphere. Okay? So, ayan. So, those are the system of layers. The system of our atmosphere's layer. Ayan. So, sana nakuha nyo itong mga different layers. Again, don't forget the mnemonics T, S, M, P, E. So, tropho, strato, meso, thermo, and exosphere. Okay? So, we're done with the first system. Now, we're on the second. The system of its composition. So ano ba yung nagko-compose sa sa ating Earth's atmosphere? Do you have any idea kung ano ang bumubuo sa natin, sa atmosphere? Sige nga, can you give gases that makes up our atmosphere? So kung dinidivide siya according to the temperature differences, so ano naman ngayon ang mga matatagpuan sa ating atmosphere? So sana this is a review. Okay? So according to this website, you can visit this website. Our atmosphere is made up of 78% nitrogen. Okay, remember nyo doon sa sa biogeochemical cycles. So etong nitrogen na ito, kailangan niyang mag-undergo ng several chemical reaction para maging readily available for plants and animals. Okay? 78% of our atmosphere is composed of nitrogen. Only 21% is composed of oxygen. Yung atmosphere natin ay 21% na oxygen. So ito yung nagagamit natin for breathing, for us to live. Okay? So, saan nanggagaling itong oxygen na ito? Yung process ng photosynthesis every single day, every single seconds. So, dyan po nanggagaling yung oxygen. Okay? And nakikita nyo itong maliit na porsyento ng ng atmosphere natin. Yan po ay tinatawag nating mga greenhouse gases. Okay? That is constituting 1% of our atmosphere. So it is a mixture of carbon dioxide, a methane, water vapor, ayan, yung mga water vapor na nag-evaporate after during the water cycle, yung ozone natin, ayan, and other noble gases. Okay, so 1% lang yan, class. So ang tawag natin dito, tulad ng nabanggit ko kanina, ang tawag natin dyan ay greenhouse gases. So, makikita nyo ma'am, 1% lang naman yan. But, did you know that this 1% meron siyang effect, okay, on the things that we are currently experiencing in our very own planet? Okay, kaya let us try to get to know these greenhouse gases. So, ito yung sinasabi kong, kasi Earth's composition na topic is very easy. Pero yung detailed content about this greenhouse gases ay kailangan nating alamin. Kasi itong mga greenhouse gases na to, meron itong mga nagiging epekto sa ating environment. Ano po? So, let us get to know greenhouse gases. Okay, I know this is not the first time na maririnig nyo ang greenhouse gases kasi simula high school, kahit elementary ata na babanggit na to. So, greenhouse gases, these are naturally occurring gases. Okay, ibig sabihin, talagang sa atmosphere natin, there are naturally occurring gases, okay, that absorbs, take note of its role, that absorbs and emits radiant energy. So ang isa sa pinaka role niya is etong mga greenhouse gases, class, nag-absorb po ito. Okay? Nag-absorb ng init galing sa araw, and at the same time, ini-emit niya po yung energy na na-absorb pabalik ng ating planet. Okay, so later nyo bakit kailangang ibalik yung init na na-absorb nitong mga greenhouse gases. Okay, so we have different, nabanggit ko na to, we have different types of greenhouse gases. So I hope you are familiar with this chemical formula. Ayan, so CH4 is for this is what? Okay, so CH4 is methane. Okay, wag nyo tong kakalimutan. Ano po? So N2O, ayan. So, we have here the nitrous oxide. Ayan. So, this is the most famous greenhouse gas of all. We have the carbon dioxide. Ayan. Wag nyo kakalimutan CO2. Carbon dioxide. So, and we also have etong O3. Ayan. We have the ozone. Ayan. And meron din tayong tinatawag na mga water vapor o yung H2O in a form of vapor. Okay? So so far, class, these are the most common greenhouse gases that absorbs and emits radiant energy. So etong mga gases na ito, class, ayan, meron pa palang isa. So yung mga chlorofluorocarbons, they are also considered as greenhouse gases. So sa later part nitong discussion, nagpo-focus siya dito sa mga CFCs. Okay, saan ito nanggagaling at ano-ano yung nagiging nagiging epekto sa atin kapag too much CFCs in our atmosphere. Okay? So these gases class traps heat coming from the sun to warm the earth, which enables living things to survive. So kanina tinanong ko kayo, ma'am, bakit kailangang ibalik yung init na inaabsorb nitong mga greenhouse gases nito? Bakit kailangan siyang i-emit ulit sa sa earth? Because pag wala pong init sa ating earth, ayan, so pag walang mainit, so hindi tayo magsusurvive. So etong tamang init lang na natatrap ng mga greenhouse gas, it enables us, living things, including animals, including plants, microorganisms, to survive. Okay, so mamaya may ipapakita ko sa inyo. Ano po? So, eto nga po, these greenhouse gases absorb escaping heat and re-radiate it to earth. So, eto yung animation showing on how this greenhouse gases is nagcha-trap, ayan, inaabsorb nila yung init and then ibinabalik papunta ng earth surface. Again, because we need enough heat for us to live, to survive in this planet. Ano po? So, meron din tayong tinatawag na greenhouse effect. I know you are familiar with greenhouse effect. So, paano ba to nangyayari ang greenhouse effect? So, by the way, greenhouse effect is a natural process of trapping heat caused by greenhouse gases. So, whenever the greenhouse gases trap the heat, okay, and prevent it from escaping, thus keeping the earth warm, so nagkakaroon class ng greenhouse effect. So, yung pag-trap at pag-re-emit ng init papunta sa earth, ang tawag natin doon is greenhouse effect. Okay? So, ayan. So, dito parang init na yung earth natin. So, literally, greenhouse effect is what makes our planet warm. So, it is just like, para mas ma-imagine nyo, nakapasok na ba kayo or whenever you ride in a car na na-expose sa sunlight, 'di ba? Pagpasok nyo sobrang init. So yung car, it serves as the greenhouse, parang siya yung earth. And then nung tinamaan siya ng init, ayan, so yung ibang init inabsorb niya, tapos hindi niya pinalabas doon sa car. So that's how greenhouse effect is occurring. So pagpasok mo ng sasakyan, sobrang init. Okay? So kasi nagkaroon ng greenhouse effect. Okay? Para mas maintindihan nyo, class, etong greenhouse effect na ito, I'll be showing you simulation, simulation and greenhouse effect. Paano ba nangyayari etong greenhouse effect na ito? So, mag-aano muna ako nitong aking screen. So, paano ba nangyayari ang greenhouse effect? Okay, so tingnan natin. So, I hope nakikita nyo po tama ba? Nakikita nyo ba? Sana nakikita nyo tong animation or simulation. I-reset natin lahat. So, I would like you to take note on the temperature. So, it's in Kelvin and Fahrenheit. So, tingnan natin etong concentration you have here. By the way, the yellow one is the sunlight photon and the red one is the infrared photon. So, these are the photons coming from the sunlight. Okay, so as of now, I would like you to take a look at this. This is the greenhouse gas concentration. Okay, sana nakikita. Tama ba? Nakikita ba? Ayan, sige. Sana nakikita. Okay. So, this is the greenhouse gas concentration. So, pag walang greenhouse gas, ayan, ganyan po yung itsura. So, pag walang greenhouse gas, take a look at the thermometer. Ayan. So, walang nata-trap na mga sunlight and infrared photons. So, the temperature is becoming negative. Samantalang, class, kapag maraming greenhouse gases, look at what will happen. Ayan. So, look at the temperature. Ayan po. Nag-review nga natin yung photons. Ayan. So, sobrang dami ng nasa-trap. Nakikita nyo po itong infrared photons na mga nasa-trap. And yung temperature, there is a sudden increase in the temperature. Okay, dagdagan pa natin ng clouds. Palitan nga natin ng Celsius para mas ma-appreciate nyo. Ayan. So, dagdagan pa natin ng clouds. Ayan, tingnan natin kung tataas pa yung temperature. Dinagdagan ko pa po ng clouds. Ayan. So, look at the temperature. From 18 kanina, naging 19. Ayan. So, i-reset nga natin. Try natin i-reset. And then, lagyan natin class ng ng clouds. Ayan. So, tapos, damihan natin yung greenhouse gas. Ayan. Look at the temperature. Ito natin ng Celsius. From -2, -1, 0. Ayan. Then, 5, 6 degrees Celsius. Ayan. So, this is how greenhouse effect is occurring. So, dahil sa mga greenhouse gases, ayan, plus yung mga clouds, okay? So, nang dahil dyan, tumataas po yung temperatura. Okay? Kaya po, nagkakaroon ng enough heat in our atmosphere, in our planet because of these greenhouse gases. Pero, sabi nga 'di ba ni Aristotle, lahat ng kulang ay masama, lahat ng sobra ay masama din. So, dapat tama lang. So, today, during this time, ayan. So, today, ito yung concentration ng mga greenhouse gases. Okay, nakikita nyo to? Okay, during the Ice Age, ito naman po yung concentration ng greenhouse gases. Medyo kakaunti. Ayan. So, kung makikita nyo, ayan, bumababa yung kanyang temperature. Noong 1750, ayan, medyo tumaas na. Okay, dito, simula sa Ice Age, ito yung concentration. Noong 1750, yan yung concentration until today. So far, this is a simulation showing the concentration of greenhouse gases in our atmosphere. So, ngayon ma'am, paano naman po yan nagtatrap? Okay, paano man ma'am nagtatrap etong mga greenhouse gases na ito? So, again, there is a simulation here. I-reset ko nga po. So, this is a hypothetical atmosphere. So, let us try to build an atmosphere para ipapakita ko sa inyo kung paano nagtatrap etong mga greenhouse gases na ito. So, remember, CH4, i-reset nga natin ito. I-reset natin ito lahat. Yes. Tanggalan natin muna to para makita nyo mamaya. Aha. At siya hindi natatanggal. Ay, okay. Ito pala yung sorry naman. Ayan. So, let us build an atmosphere. Okay? So, again, CH4 is for methane, CH2 is for carbon dioxide, then H2O is for water, nitrogen gas N2, and oxygen gas O2. So, kapag madami class ang methane sa ating atmosphere, ayan, so yan po yung kanyang structure. Pag madami naman po ang carbon dioxide, and even water vapor, tingnan natin kung ano ang nangyayari dito sa mga infrared photons. Okay? Kapag ito ay tinamaan nitong mga infrared photons, look what will happen. Okay? So, once na na-absorb siya ng mga greenhouse gases, ayan, there is a photon absorption na nangyayari. So, anong napapansin nyo, class, dito sa mga photons? Okay, yung iba, pumapakawala. Okay, this is a hypothetical atmosphere. Then, yung iba, bumabalik siya sa kabilang side, which this one represents the Earth's surface. Ayan. So, this is how the different greenhouse gases is absorbing the photons or the energy, the heat or the radiant energy coming from the sun. So, it absorbs and some of it re-emit or re-radiate the energy that is coming from the sun. So, yan po. Ayan, so dagdagan pa natin yan ng nitrogen molecules. Ayan, so mas madami pa po yung matatrap. Ayan. So, Kita nyo po? So, mostly ang nagtatrap is etong mga greenhouse gases. Okay po? So, I hope with this, with this animation, with this simulation, you were able to visualize how greenhouse effect is occurring. Ano po? Kasi this process plays a significant role in our climate, in regulating our climate in this planet. Okay, so let me continue with my discussion. So sana class naintindihan nyo how greenhouse effect as a natural process is occurring. Okay, so let me continue. So greenhouse effect, ayan na po. So, greenhouse effect, sabi ko kanina, provides enough heat that enables living things to survive. So, without heat, eto po, there's a picture here. Ayan. So, this is another animation. Eto na yung kanina. Etong yung water vapor, carbon dioxide, tinatrap niya nga po yung heat na kailangan natin to survive. But, ayan. So, without greenhouse effect, Earth would be very cold. So, that is the reason we need greenhouse gases. Kasi kapag walang init, so, magiging sobrang lamig ng Earth that is too cold for living things. So, walang mabubuhay. Ayan. So, too little amount of greenhouse gas, very cold. So, kailangan lang natin ng sakto lang. Hindi tayo dapat pumunta dito sa too much kasi kapag too much na class, it will lead to higher temperature. Ayan. So, the higher the amount of greenhouse gases, the higher the temperature. So, dapat dito lang tayo just enough for living things to survive. Okay? Hindi pwedeng kakaunti, hindi pwedeng sobra. So, we need just enough greenhouse gases. Okay? So, according to this website, okay, this is the proportion of greenhouse gases in our atmosphere, comparing the natural greenhouse gases versus the man-made greenhouse gases. So, eto class, yung original talaga, naturally occurring proportion of greenhouse gases na dapat na nasa atmosphere natin. Naalala nyo yung napakaliit na porsyento lang sa atmosphere natin. So, dapat daw, greenhouse gases must be composed of 95% water vapor. Kasi nga naman, 'di ba? Every single second nagkakaroon ng water cycle. So, probably most of the composition of the greenhouse gases that composes the atmosphere is water vapor. Ayan. So, dapat 3.6% lang ang carbon dioxide. 3.6 lang ha. And others, yung methane, yung ozone, nitrous oxide, methane, basta yung iba pang greenhouse gases. So, dapat 1.4% lang. This is according to the naturally occurring greenhouse gases. But, because of the human activities. So, tinawag natin anthropomorphic, which means man-made, greenhouse gases. Eto na ngayon, class, yung nagiging composition ng ating, ng greenhouse gases in our atmosphere. So, composed na siya 84% of carbon dioxide. Imagine? So, dapat 3.6% lang, but majority is, composed na siya ng carbon dioxide. Okay, so binubuo na siya 9% ng methane galing sa mga waste, 5% nitrous oxide, and 2% fluorinated gas, mga CFCs. Ayan. So, can you see the difference between the naturally occurring greenhouse gases and the man-made greenhouse gas? So, what's the implication of this? Okay, ano ngayon yung implication nito? So, I will show you behavior over time graph showing the trend of the current concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. So this was these were taken from this website. So you can visit this to verify kung tama ba yung pinapakita ko sa inyo. So first of all, this is the trend of the concentration of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. So as you can see here, so this is the concentration, parts per million, and this is the year or the duration. So, during the 1960, ito pa lang po yung concentration. And at present, okay, 2021, so nasa na siya, nasa 418 parts per million carbon dioxide. Ayan. So, if you can see here, Ayan, so the trend is increasing indeed. Ayan, nakikita nyo to. Sana marunong kayong bumasa. Ano po? Bumasa ng mga, by the way, this is a behavior over time graph. This is one of the one of the systems thinking tools that we are using. Ayan, so this is a BOTG. Okay? So, kung makikita natin, the trend is increasing. Okay? So, kung tatanungin kayo, probably, what will happen after 10 years? Ayan. So, what do you think? If you are going to predict what will happen to the concentration of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. So, with this data, dapat kaya nyong i-predict kung ano yung susunod if we will not do anything about it. Okay? So, another graph that I have here, this is the trend, a behavior over time graph of the concentration of nitrous oxide. So, N2O in our atmosphere, this is also a greenhouse gas. So, kung titingnan natin yung trend, the same siya sa carbon dioxide, pataas ng pataas. Another greenhouse gas that we have here is the methane, CH4. So, eto din po class yung trend. So, ano ang common dito sa tatlong ito? Yung trend nila ay pataas ng pataas. So, ibig sabihin, kapag wala tayong ginawa about this, for the next 10 years, tataas ng tataas pa ang greenhouse gases. And remember that too much greenhouse gas in the atmosphere is equivalent to too much heat in our planet Earth. Okay? So, ngayon, okay, where do greenhouse gases emission come from? Parang nagtataka kayo, ma'am, bakit naman po pataas ng pataas yung greenhouse gases sa ano natin, sa ating atmosphere? Remember only 1% lang dapat ang greenhouse gases. So, dahil sa mga human activities, we are increasing those greenhouse gases in our atmosphere. So, to answer that, where do greenhouse gases emissions came from? So, first of all, ayan, this is pie graph. Baka nagkakamali ako. So, showing the greenhouse gas emissions by sector. Okay? So, kung makikita nyo dito, 73% of the greenhouse emission is coming from energy sector. Okay? Yung pag-generate ng electricity, ayan. So, that is one of the most contributing factor kung bakit meron tayong mataas na greenhouse gas emission. And 18.3% are coming from farming and land use change. Ayan. So, agriculture, yung pag-change from forest into agricultural land, into industrial land, into commercial or residential land. Ayan. So, nagkakaroon po yan nag-i-emit siya ng 18.3% na greenhouse gas in our atmosphere. And 5.6 greenhouse gas emission are coming from the industry. Mga pabrika, mga factories, ayan. And yung 3.2% yung mga wastes natin, ayan. So, nandyan mostly nanggagaling yung mga methane. So, tingnan natin in details kung ano ba yung mga nagko-contribute sa bawat sector na ito. Ano po, para matrace natin kung saan ba yung pwede nating baguhin yung mga ginagawa natin para somehow mabawasan yung mga greenhouse gas emissions. Okay? So, this is the greenhouse gas emissions from energy sector. Ayan. So, remember, 73% emissions ay galing sa energy sector. Okay? Saan itong mga nanggagaling? Ayan, yung sa construction. Ayan, yung mga ginagamit na mga machines. Ayan, so bawat paggamit ng machines class, ayan, nag-i-emit po yan ng mga greenhouse gas, ayan, yung paggamit ng mga fuels, ayan. So, pag-manufacture ng mga products, okay? Electricity power plant, ayan, pag-generate ng mga ng mga electricity sa mga thermal power plant or geothermal power plant, ayan. So, kapag kinumbine mo ang heat at ang power, ayan, so it is greenhouse gas emission. Okay, another, yung mga sasakyan, ayan, nag-i-emit din po siya whenever we burn fuels. Okay? Nag-i-emit po yan ng nitrous oxide, nag-i-emit po yan ng carbon dioxide. Ayan. So far, ito yung mga activities belonging to the energy sector. Pag-manufacture ng mga products, pag-generate ng electricity, pag-produce ng fertilizer, paggamit ng mga sasakyan, paggamit ng mga machines. So, halos lahat ng ito, everyday, ginagamit ito ng tao. Hindi man directly, but sa mga industry, gumagamit po ng sobrang daming energy. That is why we are energy sector is contributing 73% of greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, another source or sector that we have here is the agriculture. Aside doon sa pag-manufacture ng mga fertilizer, okay, sa agriculture, remember that this is contributing to 18.3% emission. So, yung pag-burn ng mga leftover crops, halimbawa, 'di ba? Gusto nating yung mga natirang mga crops, gusto nating i-clear yung pagtataniman, yung iba, ano na nila 'yan? Sinusunog. Ayan. So, nagre-release po yun ng carbon dioxide. Yung mga yung when cows, sheep, and goats are digesting food, ayan. So, they are releasing methane. Ayan. Yung mga pupo nila, ayan. Whenever ma-decompose yun, nagre-release po yan ng methane. Together with the different microorganisms na matatagpuan sa soil, ayan. So, nagre-release po ito ng methane. And also, kapag yung mga fertilizer tsaka yung mga manure na decompose, it is releasing methane and nitrous oxide. Ayan, yung mga farm machinery, yung mga tractors, ayan, yung mga ginagamit na machines, ayan. So, nagre-release po yan ng carbon dioxide. So, that is contributing to 18.3% emissions. Okay? So, another sector, So, part pa nung agriculture is the issue on deforestation, 'di ba? We already discussed this, and according to your activity, so the higher the deforestation rate, okay? So the higher the carbon dioxide emissions. Tama ba? So the more natin class na pinuputol ang mga puno, the more na carbon dioxide ang marirelease sa atmosphere, kasi nga walang mag-absorb ng carbon dioxide through photosynthesis. So, isa sa pwede nating bantayan na human activities is yung pagputol ng mga punong kahoy. And remember, sa hydrosphere natin, ito din ay contributing factor in making our ocean acidic. So, napakalaking factor ng deforestation in our environment. Ano po? So, ayan, sa activity nyo to during in our lithosphere. So, di ba nakita nyo doon, directly related ang tree cover loss and the carbon dioxide emission. So, the higher the tree cover loss, ayan, nakikita nyo to, di ba ito yung graph? Sana nakuha nyo to. Ano po? The higher the tree cover loss, the higher the carbon dioxide emission. Kasi nga, wala nang mag-absorb ng carbon dioxide. Okay? So, ngayon, another source of greenhouse gases is from the industry, that is 5.6% emissions. So, emissions from producing cements, chemicals, and various other materials like plastics, rubber, and man-made fabric. So, it is in the industry, yung mga factory, so they are contributing 5.6 emission. And lastly, eto na po yung mga waste. Ayan. So, kapag po yung waste ay matagal-tagal na. So, waste in landfills, sorting wastewater, and treating human sewage all produce greenhouse gases. Mostly, methane. Ayan. So, yung mga galing sa mga waste ay nagre-release sila ng methane. Okay, that is 3.2% emissions. So, additionally, meron tayong mga naturally occurring. So, yung mga nauna class na diniscuss kong yung mga naunang diniscuss ko, yung methane, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, ayan. So, yun po ay mga man-made greenhouse gases. So, naturally, eto pong ozone, okay, this is the good ozone. So, O3, remember this, the good ozone, okay, So, this is an example of naturally occurring greenhouse. So, we'll talk more about this on ozone. And another naturally occurring greenhouse gases is the water vapor. Ayan, during the water cycle, ayan po. So, maraming water vapor in our atmosphere. Okay, so these are naturally occurring greenhouse gases. So hindi sila masyadong harmful, but they are parang helpful sila in our environment. Unlike nung mga nauna, yung carbon dioxide, ayan. So hindi sila harmful 'yon sa ating environment pag sobrang dami ng sobrang dami ng kanilang concentration. Okay, katulad nga nitong pinakita kong yung mga graph sa inyo. So kapag hindi nagbago class yung trend in the concentration of these greenhouse gases. Ayan, meron siyang banta sa ating kapaligiran. Ayan, the temperature of our environment will be affected. Kasi remember, greenhouse gases absorb and re-emit the energy coming from the sun. So dapat sakto lang yung yung concentration nitong mga greenhouse gases na ito. Ano po? So what if ayan, this is a question. This is an interesting question. What if there's an increasing emission of greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide into the atmosphere? What do you think might happen to Earth? Okay, so I'll be expecting an answer to this question. Ano po? So what if continues in the next 10 years? Patuloy na tataas yung trend na naandoon sa mga graph na pinakita ko sa inyo. Okay? So why do we need to be concerned about the increasing concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere? So bakit kailangan nating maging concerned about that? So I'll be expecting answers from you. Ano po? So to give you an idea, so kapag ka maraming carbon dioxides and greenhouse gases sa atmosphere natin, class, ibig sabihin, it means more heat is trapped in the Earth's atmosphere, which will make our Earth warmer. So kapag sobrang init na ng Earth natin, it will lead. Ayan. This will result to global warming. And aminin nyo man sa hindi, global warming is already happening. Okay, so global warming, this is an increasing temperature phenomenon around the world and the long-term warming of the planet. Take note, hindi lang siya basta warming, but it is a long-term warming. Okay? So, the global warming class, whether you like it or yes, paniwalaan nyo sa hindi, it's already happening. Okay? When we discuss climate change, mas makikita nyo doon yung mga evidences that indeed, global warming and climate change are occurring. Kasi etong global warming na ito, class, eto yung nagdudulot kung bakit tayo merong rapid climate change. Okay? So, tanong, is Earth getting warmer? What's the evidence? Okay, ano ba yung evidence na nag-warm yung Earth? Okay, this one. This is a graph of the global land and ocean temperature anomalies from 1880 to 2020. Actually, this is this is a current data taken from NOAA. Ayan, so kung gusto nyo makakuha ng mga data about our Earth, about global land temperature, you go to the website of NOAA. Ayan. So, before, ayan, yan yung temperature anomaly. Ibig sabihin ng temperature anomaly, class, yung difference nung temperature nung nakarang taon, tapos yung temperature nung yung sumunod na taon. Ayan. So, eto yung difference before, nagne-negative yung difference. Okay? Samantalang, pagpasok nitong 1980, dito nagsimula yung sudden change in the temperature. Baka titingnan nyo dito, ma'am, 1 degrees Fahrenheit lang naman yon. Okay? So, sasabihin nyo, ma'am, konti lang naman yan. Saan nyo? Okay? Konti lang. Okay? Pero sa ibang organisms, and even us, diba, kapag may lagnat kayo, ayan, meron pa ba itong next? Ayan, so, kapag may lagnat kayo, ang sudden increase in, halimbawa, 37.5 is the normal body temperature. Once na maging 38 yan, sobrang init na ng inyong pakiramdam. So, that is how the Earth is feeling kapag there is a sudden change in its temperature. Ayan. So, again, this is the global land and ocean temperature anomalies from 1880 until 2021. So, I hope you are getting the pattern. Okay? So, pagdating nitong time na to, ibig sabihin, tumataas ang kanyang global temperature anomalies. Yung difference from one year to the next year is mataas. Hindi siya negative, kundi nagiging ano na siya, positive na ano yung positive na yung result. So, ibig sabihin, it's an indicator, parang ano siya, ano ba, 37 degrees Fahrenheit ngayong taon. Okay? Tapos next year, sabihin na nating 37 ngaya 0.5. So kunin mo yung difference nun, yun yung anomaly. Okay? So kapag mataas yung difference nun, ibig sabihin there is a fluctuation of temperature between that two year. Okay? So if you want to verify this, you go to the website of NOAA. Ano po? So the Earth, sabi dito, the Earth has warmed by about 1 degrees Fahrenheit over the past 100 years. So, but why? Ayan, so I hope nakukuha nyo kung bakit nagkakaroon ng sudden increase because of global warming. Okay, so umiinit po. Ayan, so eto, this is a scale. Okay, this is negative 50 degrees Celsius. Then etong may, ano ba, dark red, dark orange. So, it represents 35 degrees Celsius. So, etong part na to, aside sa we are directly being hit by the sun, yung nasa equator, because of global warming, meron mas mataas pa po, tumataas pa yung temperatura. Okay? So, ma'am, 1 degrees Fahrenheit lang yon. So, if feeling mo sobrang liit lang nito, but when we discuss climate change, okay, in details, so makikita nyo na itong 1 degrees Fahrenheit, malaking bagay ito. Ano po? So, it is affecting us. Ayan, hindi lang yung tao, even plants and animals, and even microorganisms, they are being affected by this sudden change in our global temperature. Na kaya, nagkakaroon na ng global warming. So, because there's a domino effect. Okay? So, kapag marami ang greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide on the atmosphere, okay? 'Di ba? Maraming greenhouse gases. So, it will lead to global warming. Maraming naiimit, maraming natatrap na heat, maraming ibinabalik na heat sa Earth's atmosphere, kaya nagwo-warm yung ating globe or yung ating earth. So kapag nagkaroon ng global warming, a long-term warming of the earth, so nagkakaroon ngayon ng climate change. Okay? So kapag nagkaroon na class ng climate change, ayan, and we are already experiencing it, okay, hindi man kayo aware, pero nangyayari na po ang sudden change of climate. Okay? It affects all the living things on the earth. Okay, this is the domino effect kapag sobrang dami ng greenhouse gases sa ating atmosphere. Ano po? So, this is the composition. Okay? Sobrang haba nung sobrang haba nung composition ng Earth's atmosphere. Ang pinag-usapan lang naman natin doon is yung greenhouse gas. Kasi nga, although 1% lang dapat siya, because of the different human activities class. Etong per 1% na ito, nadadagdagan na ito. And, 'di ba? Through greenhouse effect, itong greenhouse gases na ito ay meron siyang significant effect in our environment. So, we need to monitor, we need to babaan yung concentration nitong mga greenhouse gases na ito sa ating atmosphere. Kasi kung hindi, pagpatuloy na tumaas yan, ayan, alam niyo na kung ano yung mga susunod. There is a domino effect in that. Okay, so, we're halfway, ayan, so almost 1 hour na siya. Again, you can post for this, at this moment, pwede kayong mag-pause for a while, okay? Para, alam nyo yun, makapag-rest kayo. Kasi, I think this is the last. Pollutants. Dalawa pa to. The system of its pollutants and the system of its environmental issues. So, titingnan natin kung hanggang anong oras to aabutin tong discussion na to. But then, sabi ko, pwedeng stop muna kayo dito, then yung second half sa kung kailan naman kayo convenient na manood. Para isa lang siya dito sa video na to, pwede nyo ma-pause, pwedeng ma-forward, kasi kulang na talaga tayo class sa time. Okay? So, the next system that I'm going to discuss, after discussing the system of its layer and the system of its composition, focusing on the greenhouse gases. So dito naman yung mga system of pollutants. Why? Because our atmosphere has a tremendous ability to disperse pollutants. Ibig sabihin, class, yung atmosphere natin, since it a gas, okay, meron siyang ability to absorb or disperse. Okay? Inaabsorb niya yung mga pollutants coming from different sources. Okay? So, this, according to this, to this website, these are the different sources of pollutants. So, to give you an idea, okay, we categorize the different sources. Iba po, class, yung greenhouse gas, tsaka air pollutants. Okay, sana nagkakaano tayo doon, malinaw yun sa atin. Greenhouse gases supposed to be are naturally occurring in the atmosphere. Okay, so dinadagdagan lang natin yon because of human activities. So, they are naturally occurring pero nadadagdagan yung concentration. Samantalang itong pollutants, ayan, so ito yung mga chemicals that we are releasing to the atmosphere na nagiging part na siya nung ating atmosphere. So, we have 4 different sources. We have the natural sources, okay, which includes the lightning, ayan. So, whenever there's a lightning, it is emitting pollutant. Okay, thermal pollution. Ayan, yung mga volcanoes. Ayan, so kapag whenever there is a volcanic eruption, ayan, so nagre-release po yan ng pollutant. So titingnan natin later kung ano yung mga nire-release ng mga volcanoes. Whenever there is a wildfire, ayan, yung pagkasunog ng mga ng mga forest, ayan, intentionally or kung accidentally man siya, so nagre-release po siya ng pollutants. Ayan, sa forest. Another source of pollutants, so we have area. Example, yung mga cities. Ayan. So, etong mga cities, since they are highly urbanized, ayan, so napaka-develop ng mga cities, iba yung pollutant na nire-release nila. Okay? Another area considered as area pollutant, so yung mga livestock. Ayan, yung pag-raise ng mga cows, ayan, yung mga ibang animals, ayan, so nagre-release po yan ng mga air pollutants. Okay, so another naman po, meron din tayong kinakategorize na source ng pollutant is the stationary source of pollutants. So we have the industry, ayan, yung mga factories. Bakit sila stationary? Kasi hindi sila nagmo-move. Okay? Kasi stationary. Ayan, yung mga power plants, mga sewage treatment, ayan, so hindi sila nagmo-move pero nagre-release sila ng pollutants. And eto din, meron tayong kinakategorize naman na source ng pollutants is yung mga mobile source of pollutants. So, kasama dito, because of mobile, ibig sabihin, kumagalaw, not stationary. Okay, mga airplanes, mga cars, trucks, and buses, ayan, yung mga mode of transportation natin, those are sources of air pollutants. Okay, so etong mga sources na to, yung mga ini-emit nila are being categorized. Okay? So, we have 2 categories. Okay, sana ba't hindi na siya nagmo-move? Hala. Meron pa pala tong mga sources. Ayan, mobile sources. Na-discuss ko na siya. So, we have 2 categories of air pollutants. So, iba't ibang source, pero categorized siya. So, the first category is what we call the primary pollutants. Okay? So, there's something to do with its source. Ayan. Then, this is directly added to the atmosphere. Just like in hydrosphere, we have point sources of pollutants and we have non-point source of pollutants. So, eto, yung primary pollutants class, these are directly added to the atmosphere. Okay? So, the second one, of course, the secondary pollutants, hindi siya directly added. But these pollutants are formed when primary pollutants interact with sunlight, with air, and other pollutants. Kaya siya, class, nagiging secondary pollutants kasi although hindi siya directly nai-emit sa atmosphere, but whenever there is a chemical reaction, kapag nag-interact sila sa sunlight, sa air, at sa ibang primary pollutants, kaya nagkakaroon ng secondary pollutants. So, let us discuss ano ba yung mga included dito sa primary tsaka secondary pollutants. Ano po? So, first of all is the carbon monoxide. Okay, so sa carbon monoxide, itong monoxide is considered as primary pollutant. Another example of primary pollutant, so we have nitrogen dioxide. So, sana hindi kayo malito sa nitrous oxide tsaka nitrogen dioxide. Okay? So, magkaiba po ang air pollutants sa greenhouse gases. Sana malinaw po yun sa inyo. So, we also have sulfur dioxide. Ayan. So, we also have lead or PB lead. This is an element. Okay? So, source din po siya ng considered din siya as primary pollutants. Okay? So, another, we have the volatile organic compounds or tinatawag nating VOX. Ayan, VOX is short term for volatile organic compounds. So, iisa-isahin natin to class. Ayan. So, another type of primary pollutants, so meron din tayong tinatawag na particulate matter. So, minsan makikita nyo to sa activity nyo sa atmosphere, may makikita kayong PM 2.5. PM10, hindi po ito yung sa mga inasal na ino-order na PM1, PM2, hindi po. So, this particulate matter, ibig sabihin, this number indicates the size of the particulate matter. Okay? So, yung 2.5, medyo maliit siya compared sa PM10. Ano po? So far, these are the primary pollutants. Okay? The secondary pollutants that we have is what we call photochemical smog. Ayan. So, etong photochemical smog, nangyayari ito whenever there's an interaction, okay, sa sunlight. So, later, i-discuss natin to. Stay tuned. Ayan. So, another type of secondary pollutant, ayan, meron tayo class tinatawag na, bad ozone. Ayan. So, hindi ito yung good ozone, bad cause ito yung bad ozone. This is the ozone in the lower part. Okay? So, we'll discuss this kung ano ba ang pagkakaiba ng good tsaka bad ozone. Ano po? So, let us continue. I hope you are still watching. So, sana, panoorin nyo pa din ito hanggang dito sa point na ito. Ano po? So, let us, start with the primary sources of, remember this is Sonoco. Okay? Sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, carbon dioxide. So, saan ba nanggagaling itong Sonoco? Ayan. So, ayan na nga po. We have the sulfur dioxide, the nitrogen dioxide, and the carbon monoxide. Ayan. So, bakit ma'am wala po dyan yung carbon dioxide? Because carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas, which is a result kapag etong carbon monoxide ay nag-interact. Okay, mamaya makikita nyo yung chemical equation. So, let us start kung saan nanggagaling etong mga pollutants na ito, primary pollutants na ito. So, these pollutants are released whenever we burn fossil fuels. Okay, so whenever nagbo-burn tayo ng fossil fuels such as, okay, we have coal. Ayan, ito yung ginagamit natin usually sa mga power plants. To run the power plants, to generate electricity, we are using coal. Okay? So, gumagamit din po tayo ng mga crude oil. Ayan, may gasoline, ng mga diesel, ayan, pang patakbo ng ating mga sasakyan. Okay? We're also using fossil fuels such as natural gas whenever we are using LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. Ayan. So, kapag biniburn po itong mga to class, itong mga fossil fuels na ito, whenever we burn this, we are releasing these primary sources of pollutants. Okay, saan natin ito mga ginagamit? We burn these fossil fuels, first of all, in power plants to generate electricity. So, nabanggit ko na ito kanina. So, sa mga power plants, we need coal. Kasi etong coal, diba, pag binurn yan, talagang yung heat na heat energy na napoproduce niya is mataas, ayan, compared to other materials na biniburn. Ano po? So, another in factories, to power machineries. So, kailangan ng mga fuel para mag-run yung mga yung mga machines. Okay? So, again, sa bawat pagsunog, yung mga nakikita nyong masulasok na usok, so, ayan po yan, source po yan ng mga primary pollutants directly na irini-release sa ating atmosphere. Okay? In stoves and furnaces for heat, ayan, so whenever we cook, in airplanes, ships, trains, and motor vehicles for transportation. Ayan, sa pagpapatakbo ng ating mga sasakyan, we are releasing directly primary pollutants. Okay? In waste facilities, to incinerate wastes, ayan yung pag-incinerate ng mga ng mga basura natin. So, class, it is releasing this primary pollutants. Okay? So, wag niyong susunugin ang basura niyo. Kasi directly po kayong nakaka-contribute na mag-release ng primary pollutants sa ating atmosphere. So, ayan, later tingnan natin kung anong effect nito. So, another, ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo na, ma'am, bakit po, 'di ba sabi niyo po, ayan, kasama sa pollutants ang carbon dioxide. Aside from siya ay greenhouse gas, bakit ma'am nakakasira siya sa ating atmosphere? So, ito yung kwento ng carbon monoxide tsaka carbon dioxide. So, whenever, ayan, so kita nyo to, this is carbon dioxide. Consider na din siya as pollutant. Okay? So, ito kasi nagkakaroon ng chemical reaction. Whenever we burn fossil fuels, di ba nagre-release tayo ng carbon monoxide. Okay? Kapag ito class na carbon monoxide na ito, nag-react. Okay? Nag-react siya sa oxygen gas in the air. Okay? CO reacts with oxygen gas. So, nakaka-produce po yan ng 2 molecules of carbon dioxide. Okay, hindi ko lang siya nalagyan dito ng 2. Ayan, so pag mo yan, this is the resulting pollutant kapag yung carbon monoxide ay nag-react sa oxygen. Okay? So again, the higher the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, okay, it is becoming hotter. Okay, so kapag wala ng punong mag-absorb nitong carbon dioxide, our earth will become warmer and warmer. Okay? So, ayan na po. So, nabanggit ko na yan. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. Okay? So, let me continue. Another type of primaries. Tapos na tayo dun sa Sunoco. Sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide. Tandaan nyo yung Sunoco. And carbon monoxide. Sunoco stands for that. Sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, and carbon monoxide, Sunoco. Ayan. So another, remember the VOX, that stands for volatile organic compounds. So eto namang mga VOX na ito, ayan. So saan naman ito nanggagaling? So these are organic compounds that readily evaporate and becomes pollutants in the air. Remember, organic compounds, these are any compounds containing carbon and hydrogen. Okay? Yung may long chain ng carbon and hydrogen. So, these are organic compounds na nag-evaporate na naging part na siya ng as pollutants ng ating atmosphere. Okay? So, this is composed primarily of carbon and hydrogen or tinatawag nating hydrocarbons. Okay? So, ito yung mga sources ng mga VOX. Okay? So, 50% ay nanggagaling sa industrial or commercial processes. Okay? So, eto po, dito muna tayo sa side na ito. Yung mga motor vehicles, 45% po nagre-release sila ng 45% na bumubuo ng VOX sa ating atmosphere is nanggagaling sa mga combustion of fuels. So, kayo, you are future mechanical engineers. I hope one of you will be able to develop a technology that can help us in helping our environment to at least mabawasan yung etong mga pollutants na ito. You make efficient cars, efficient machines, okay po? So, para mabawasan etong mga ini-emit natin sa ating atmosphere. So, yung combustion of fossil fuels, ayan, source po siya ng VOX. Okay, another source we have here, yung mga solvents. Ayan, yung pag-consume natin ng mga paints and coatings. Ayan, di ba masangsang yung amoy ng mga paints? So, yan po ay nagre-release po yan ng mga volatile organic compounds. Ayan. So, another, ayan na, ito na po, hindi wala palang picture sa industrial and commercial processes. Aside sa nagre-release sila ng sonoko, yung sa mga factories, nagre-release din po sila ng mga volatile organic compounds or mga tinatawag nating VOCs. Okay? So, another source, another type of primary pollutants, ito na nga po, yung particulate matter. So, these are small solid particles or mas kilalang dust, ayan, mga alikabok, and liquid droplets that dispersed in the atmosphere. So, kaya nga po siya tinawag na particulate matter. Mga maliliit silang particles na na-absorb or na-disperse in the atmosphere. Okay, so eto nga yung sinabi ko kanina, this is not this is not the PM1, PM2 sa Mang Inasal, pero ito po yung PM10. There's something to do with the size of the matter na suspended sa air. So PM10, this is considered as coarse particulate matter. Malalaki yung kanyang particles. Yung PM2.5, meron siyang is din yung considered as fine particulate matter. So sa activity nyo, wag kayong malilito doon sa website na papapuntahan ko sa inyo, wherein you will gather the amount of particulate matter in a certain area. So wag kayong malilito sa PM10 tsaka PM2.5. Ano po? So ayun po. So eto po, usually, sa mga factories, nagre-release po yan ng mga particulate matter. Ayan, nakikita ito mga nakakasulasok na na usok. Meron po diyang mga particulate matter. So, yung feeling nyo, bakit parang zero visibility na sa mga ibang syudad? Ayan. So, one of the main reason is that marami pong particulate matter. So, ibig sabihin, pag maraming particulate matter, madaming nasususpend na mga dust and liquid droplets in the atmosphere. So, it's a primary pollutant class. Ayan. So, nakakaano yan sa ating sa ating respiratory system. So, that's why sa mga polluted na lugar, we really need to wear face mask. Ayan. So, another primary source of pollutant or another type of primary pollutant is we have the lead, PB. This is a hazardous heavy metal that can enter the body when we inhale airborne particles. So, po siya, nakaka-affect siya sa ating nervous system, nakaka-affect siya sa ating pag-iisip whenever maka-inhale ka nitong lead na ito. So, saan tayo makakakuha nito? Those additives in gasoline to help engine run effectively. So, before class, ayan, yung mga fuels noon, yung mga gasoline, meron siyang lead. Pero dahil nga sa mga pag-aaral, napag-alaman na etong lead ay meron siyang bad effect in humans health. Kaya ngayon yung mga gasoline natin ngayon ay mga unleaded na. Ayan. So kaya tinawag na unleaded na kasi wala na nga pong lead. So before dinadagdag yung lead para mas maging efficient yung kapag ginamit siya sa mga sasakyan. So, saan pa merong lead? Ayan. So, yung mga additives na nilalagay sa mga paints to give colorful pigments. Ayan po. Kaya, 'di ba, kapag nakakaamoy tayo ng mga paints, ayan. So, ano bang tawag dito? Makasakit siya sa ulo. Ayan, so wag niyo pong aamoy-amoyin yung mga pintura. Kasi it contains lead. Okay? So again, this is a primary source pollutant. Okay? So lastly, I think wala na. Ayan. So I'm done with the primary pollutants. I hope you are still watching. So far, sana nagkaroon kayo ng idea saan nanggagaling yung mga primary pollutants. Because at this moment, we will come to get to know the secondary pollutants. Okay? So, eto naman class na secondary pollutants. Ayan. So, ang unang example natin dyan is the photochemical smog. Okay? Kailan nagkakaroon ng photochemical smog? Okay? So, photochemical smog class, this is a mixture of pollutants. Okay? Including surface ozone, okay, or the bad ozone that results from the interaction of nitrogen oxides, okay, or yung NOx, and volatile organic compounds with sunlight in a warm environment. So, ibig sabihin, eto, kaya siya naging secondary because there is an interaction with different pollutants. Okay, so paano ba yan, ma'am? Okay? So, kapag yung nitrous oxides, ayan, para mas maano nyo, mas ginawan ko siya ng, ano ba to? Chemical equation. Ayan. Yung nitrogen oxides, take note, these are primary pollutants. Una ko tong diniscuss. So, etong mga nitrogen oxides class, kapag yan ay nag-interact with VOX, okay? So, no VOX plus, okay? So, pag nag-interact pa siya with heat and sunlight, okay? So, kapag nag-interact siya sa init na galing sa sunlight, ayan, so that is the time nakaka-produce ng photochemical smog. Okay? So, ma'am, eto ba? Ayan. So, etong photochemical smog, sabi dito sa it is a mixture of pollutants. Okay, mixture na po ito class nitong mga pollutants, including the surface ozone and other pollutants. Kasi class, etong surface ozone na ito, ayan, this is another secondary pollutant na napoproduce din siya, napoproduce yung surface ozone na ito whenever nagkakaroon ng interaction. So, tingnan natin kung saan nakiki-interact, bakit nagkakaroon ng surface ozone. Huwag kayong malilito class. Ano po? So, etong photochemical smog is a mixture of pollutant, including surface ozone. Okay? Kasama itong iba't ibang primary pollutant, including nitrogen oxide and volatile organic compounds. Kasama yung init na galing sa araw. So, pag yan nag-interact within our atmosphere, that is the time nagkakaroon ng photochemical smog. Actually, nangyari siya sa Manila nung kasagsagan ng volcanic eruption ng Taal. Ayan. So, nagtataka yung iba, bakit kaya po sobrang parang zero visibility na within that area sa Metro Manila, papunta ng Batangas, ayan, kasi nga po nagkaroon ng reaction ng nitrogen oxide, yung mga VOX and init na galing sa araw, kaya nagkaroon ng photochemical smog. Okay? So, ayan. So, remember, the combination of NOx and VOX, okay, plus init, it produces photochemical smog na binubuo ng surface ozone and other pollutants. Okay? So, eto na yun. Eto yung isa sa bumubuo ng photochemical smog ay tinatawag nating bad ozone. Okay? So, ang tawag natin doon sa bad ozone ay surface or ground level ozone. Ozone din siya. Okay? So, this is a product of photochemical smog. So, nakita nyo kanina, yung photochemical smog, whenever nag-combine yung NOVOX, tama ba ako? If I'm not mistaken, NOVOX ba yun? Tama. NOVOX, pag nag-combine ang NOVOX with heat coming from the sunlight, nagkakaroon ng byproduct na ozone. Okay, this is the bad ozone. Okay, or sinatawag din nating surface or ground level ozone. Okay, this is a molecule that consists of 3 oxygen atoms bonded to one another. So, katulad ng good ozone, etong bad ozone, this is also composed of 3 oxygen atom. Pero yun nga lang ang pinagkaiba nila. This one is a bad ozone. Okay? So, tingnan nyo tong nasa picture. Yung ating protective ozone ay matatagpuan sa stratosphere. Okay? Etong tinutukoy ko class na surface or ground level ozone, this is the bad ozone. This is dangerous to us. So, whenever nagkaroon ng interaction doon sa mga pollutants, okay, and plus heat coming from the sun, that is why nagkakaroon ng ozone. Okay, remember that bad ozone is a byproduct of photochemical smog. Ano po? So, we should go on with the protective one. Okay? Ayan, so we should ito lang dapat yung ating meron, yung protective ozone. So, kasi ito yung nagpo-protect sa atin. Remember the difference between the bad and good ozone. Ano po? So, yung protective ozone matatagpuan sa stratosphere. Okay? Then, yung dangerous ozone na tinatawag nating surface or ground level ozone ay matatagpuan sa troposphere. Okay? And this bad ozone is a byproduct of photochemical smog. Okay? So, eto na po yon. Pag naghalo ang Nuvox plus heat coming from the sunlight. Actually, this is the chemical process of photochemical smog. Okay, na nagpo-produce ng ozone. Okay, sana hindi kayo malito sa photochemical smog and sa pag-produce ng bad ozone. Ano po? So, they are closely related because ozone is a byproduct of photochemical smog. Ano po? So, nagkakaroon ng bad ozone whenever magkaroon ng photochemical smog. Okay po? So, sana hindi kayo nalilito doon. So far, these are the different sources of pollutants. Magkasama na yung primary at secondary sources of pollutants. So, etong mga to, these pollutants are now, nagdudulot na siya ng iba't ibang health problems. So, first of all, ayan, sa respiratory, iba't ibang respiratory diseases, ayan, yung may mga hika, ayan, so kapag naka-inhale nitong mga pollutants na to, talagang it affects them. Okay po? So, another, yung sa magkakaroon ng mga lung cancer, especially sa mga lugar na, ayan, mga polluted. Madaming naninigarilyo, madaming sasakyan na nag-i-emits ng mga pollutants. So, mataas po ang cases ng lung cancer. Another health problems, yung sa poisoning. Ayan. So, whenever nakaamoy kayo ng mga masulasok na mga chemicals in our atmosphere, pwede tayong ma-poison. Ano po? Another, blurred vision. Excuse me. Blurred vision, 'di ba? Kapag nagkakaroon ng photochemical smog, nagiging blurred yung ating hindi almost zero visibility. Okay? So, it affects our vision. Another effect, we have difficulty in breathing. Ayan, especially lalo na sa Manila, my God, when I was studying, pabalik-balik pa ako nung wala pang pandemic. Every week nag-travel ako going to Manila. As in, sabi ko nun sa sarili ko, kung papipiliin akong mag-work, hindi naman sa kasi kung bibigyan ako ng chance sa Manila and sa province, mas pipiliin ko pa din dito sa province. Kasi my God, sa Manila, talagang wala na, degraded na yung quality ng air. Kasi sobrang dami ng sources ng pollutants. Sobrang dami ng pollutants, sobrang init na. Ayan. So, basta, hindi na siya, livable for, parang masyado na siyang madumi. Okay? Madumi na yung hangin. So, makikita nyo yan, yung air quality nung sa part ng Metro Manila, sa activity nyo. Okay? You will be able to gather data about the air quality of some of the places here in the Philippines. Then, I think meron din sa ibang bansa. So, you will compare the air quality. Ano po? So, another health problem, we have the difficulty in breathing. So, another one, we have headaches and drowsiness. Ayan. So, this is very basic. So, kapag nakalanghap ka ng pollutant, of course, possible na sumakit ang ulo mo at ikaw ay, ayan, mahilo. Ayan. So far, these are the health effects of air pollution. Ayan, sa lungs, sa vision, sa respiratory organ natin. Ayan. So, another picture. this is the health effects of pollution. This is ito na yung nagpapakita ng mga diniscuss kong mga health problems na naidudulot ng mga pollutants. So we have headache and fatigue, ayan, cardiovascular illness, respiratory illnesses, cancer, skin irritation, ayan. So, halo-halo na siya. Actually, galing na nga pala to sa iba't ibang pollution. Ayan. So, air pollution, dito tayo mag-focus. Ito po. So, ito yung mga possible niyang maidulot na mga sakit sa ating katawan. Ayan. So, we're done with the pollutants. Ayan. Actually, we're done with the system of its pollutants. According to the World Health Organization, there are 4.2 million deaths that is occurring every year due to exposure to air pollution. Take note of the figure. So, ibig sabihin, almost 4.2 ang namamatay because of the exposure to air pollution. Okay? Also, this is a fact from WHO, 91% of the world's population lives in a place where air quality exceeds the WHO guidelines limit. So, ibig sabihin pala, yung kabuuan ng world population is na parang yung air quality na nasa atmosphere nila ay hindi na maganda yung quality ng air. So, in your activity next week, you will try to compare the air quality of some areas. Maganda yung activity na yan because you will gather online virtual data. Ayan. So, sa iba't ibang lugar. Ayan. Next tayo. Okay, let me proceed. And also, air pollution affects the entire ecosystems worldwide. Okay? So, eto po, after discussing those air pollutants, all in all, ang pinaka-bottom line nun, class, yung mga pollutants na yon, nakaka-affect po yon sa buong ecosystem natin. Ano po? So, of course, like nung pagtaas ng greenhouse gases, meron din pong domino effect ang pagtaas ng mga air pollutants. Ayan po. So, first of all, pag mataas ang air pollutants, ano ang magiging effect nito? Of course, tataas yung rate ng air pollution. Magiging polluted yung ating air. At once na polluted yung ating air, it will lead to the different health environmental issues. Okay? Or health problems. Ayan, sa lungs, sa heart. Ayan. So, nagkakaroon na siya ng epekto sa ating health. So, kapag meron tayong mga health problems, of course, it affects all the living things on the earth. Okay? So, namamatay yung mga organisms. Okay? Madaming namamatay ng mga tao because of air pollution. So, if we will not control yung pag-release natin ng mga air pollutants, ayan, so kawawa yung ating health. Okay? So, actually, I'm done with the first two environmental issues. Tama ba? Okay lang bang tapusin ko na ito? Okay? So, give me, malapit na to, environmental issues na lang, promise. Okay? Stay pa din kayo until matapos itong discussion na to para, sa next meeting natin, it's just a sort of recall na lang. Okay? So, please pardon me if I take too much of your time kasi kailangan talaga natin to, class. Mga importante po kasi ito. So, like what I've said, let me continue. Malapit na po ito, promise. Okay? So, let me continue. Actually, I'm done discussing the first two. Ayan, the global warming and that leads to climate change. But, I will still make a discussion on our next pa yon. Sa sunod na online class natin we will discuss global warming and climate change in details. Kasi yung diniscuss ko dito is just a pahapyaw. Pahapyaw lang kung bakit nagkakaroon ng global warming at climate change. So once we discuss that, ano ba yung mga epekto at ano yung mga evidences that there are climate change is really occurring. Okay? So another issue that I already discussed, environmental issues, the air pollution that leads to the different health problems. So, eto class, these are also environmental issues related to atmosphere. Hindi nyo man napapansin. Okay? So, I'm done discussing the different sources of air pollutants that leads to the different health problems. And allow me in this subsystem, the system of its environmental issues, to discuss two importante kasi ito class. Ano po? Two important environmental issues in the atmosphere. So we have the acid deposition and lastly the ozone depletion. Okay? So kahit ako yan pagod na akong mag-discuss, but I would like to discuss this to you because these two environmental issues, ayan. So the next slide, acid deposition or acid rain and ozone depletion are widespread and well-recognized global concerns. Okay, so etong dalawang to, aside dun sa mga na-discuss kong environmental issues, etong dalawang to talagang, eto ay mga serious global concerns. So, let us at least have a basic knowledge about these issues. So, let us start with acid deposition or acid rain. Okay, promise malapit na tong matapos. So, pardon me again. Ayan. So, eto pong acid deposition or tinatawag din nating acid rain. This is the accumulation of potential acid-forming particles on the surface. So, ibig sabihin, nagkakaroon ng reaction. Ayan, nagkakaroon ng formation ng acid. Ayan, na napupunta doon sa mga surface. Okay? This is an important pollution problem which affects the pH. Ayan, babalik na naman tayo sa pH of the Earth's environment. So, para maintindihan natin to, let us recall the pH scale. Remember nyo, nung nag-discuss tayo ng ocean acidification, medyo parang baka nalilito kayo sa pH scale. So, between 0 to 6, so that is acidic. 7 is the neutral pH. Then, 8 to 14 is the basic pH. Okay? So, bakit ito rini-review natin? Because the pH of our environment is plays a significant role in sustaining life on Earth. Okay, pag nag-exceed tayo doon sa level ng acidity, so madami pong mamamatay ng mga organisms. So, kapag naging rampant itong occurrence ng acid rain, ayan, so it will definitely affect our ecosystem. Okay? So, ayan, na-discuss ko na to, lower pH and higher pH. So, to give you an idea, eto yung mga pH ng mga iba't ibang water. Okay? So, ito po, rain, snow, fog, dew, and even dry particles which have an unusual low pH or acidic are considered together as acid rain or acid precipitation or acid deposition. So, para mas maibagin nyo, ang pH ng ocean water dapat siya 8. So, it's slightly basic. Then, yung pure water, yung iniinom natin, ang pH niyan class is 7. Okay? Then, yung normal rain, okay? The pH of normal rain is 5.6. Kapag ang rain ay naumabot na ng 4, 3, 2, 1 ang pH, so considered na siya class as acid deposition or acid rain. Okay? Nakukuha nyo po ito. Kapag nagkaroon na siya ng 4, na pH level, considered na siya as acid rain. Okay? So, paano ba na-form, ma'am, ang acid rain or acid deposition? Paano na-form? So, first of all, ayan, so, merong involved na pollutants. Of course, ayan. Okay? So, babalikan natin yung sono. Ayan. So, sulfur dioxides or sulfur oxides and nitrogen oxides. So, kapag ito class, ayan. So, kapag ang sulfur dioxide, okay, at ang nitrogen dioxide, okay, nagkaroon ng interaction within the atmosphere. Okay? Nag-generate po yan ng nitric acid or HNO3. Ayan. And then, nagkakaroon din po ng sulfuric acid, H2SO4. So, eto po, these are weak acids. Okay? But, kapag po sobrang dami na nito, ayan, it affects it have biological effects on the natural resources. Okay? So, etong mga chemicals na ito, whenever there is emission, then na-transport siya and nagkaroon ng chemical reaction, then na-deposit siya, ayan, sa surface, ayan na po, nakaka-produce siya ng nitric acid tsaka sulfuric acid. That is why nagiging acidic yung rain. Ayan. So, these are strong, ayan, acid that can cause more damages. Okay, so a small amount of this acid will not be that so strong, pero kapag sobrang dami na ng concentration, ayan po, pag sobrang dami na ng concentration nitong mga acids na to, ayan, so sobrang dami na po ng mga damages na nakukos nila. Okay, so this is a picture of how acid rain is being produced. Okay? So, remember, SONOx, ayan, sulfur dioxides and nitrogen dioxide. Okay? Naghalo siya through chemical reaction. Ayan. So, nagkaroon ng acid rain. Tapos, iuulan siya. Ayan. So, magiging part na siya ng surface. Magiging part na siya ng body of water. Ayan. So, what are the effects? Okay? What if sobrang tumaas yung level ng acidity ng rain? So, ano yung magiging effect niyan? So, first of all, in the terrestrial ecosystem. Okay? Second, it will affect the aquatic ecosystems. And lastly, it will affect the different structures. So, start tayo dito sa terrestrial ecosystem. Of course, whenever maulanan, ayan, yung surface, lahat ng naan doon sa surface na yon, okay, including those microorganisms, ay mga mamamatay sila. Especially if the rain is highly acidic. Okay, mamamatay yung mga microorganisms. Ayan, magde-decline yung mga forest, of course, kasi yung mga forest, alam mo po, meron lang silang certain pH level. So, pag highly acidic, ayan, so, nagde-decline yung mga forest. And, remember, pag nag-decline yung kung mabawasan yung mga forest natin, it will affect the carbon dioxide emission. So, connected ito doon sa mga environmental issues. Ano po? So, another effect, there will be a leaching of nutrients, and minerals, and toxic metals. So, kapag na-penetrate na yung mga soil ng acid rain, magli-leach na yung mga nutrients and toxic metals. Okay? Tingnan nyo to, ayan. So, hindi na magiging highly productive yung mga soil. Ayan. So, hindi na sila magiging, favorable for plant growth. So, ganyan po ang epekto ng acid rain sa mga terrestrial ecosystems. Ano po? And in aquatic ecosystem naman, ayan, rampant ang fish kill. Ayan. Kasi kapag sobrang taas na, di ba? Sobrang taas na ng pH ng tubig because of the acidic rain. So, nagkakaroon ng fish kill. Also, nagkakaroon din po ng algal bloom. Okay, if you are not aware, di ba? We already discussed this in hydrosphere. So, nagkakaroon ng algal bloom kapag sobrang taas na ng pH ng tubig. Okay, especially if it's coming from rain. Ayan po. So, nagkakaroon din po ng extinction of species. So, eto po, okay, these are the critical pH level of some aquatic organisms. So, yung frog, kapag yung kanilang habitat ay umabot ng 4 ang pH, probably yung mga frog ay may extinct. Hindi na sila mabubuhay. Ayan, ito pa, madami. Salamanders, ayan, yung mga snails. So, kapag tumaas yung pH ng kanilang habitat, they will be extinct. And remember, kapag nagkaroon ng extinction of species, our food chain and food web will be disturbed. Okay? There will be now an imbalance in our ecosystem. Okay? That will affect the food shortage level, and then pwedeng mag-lead into hunger, then death, and ayan. So, domino effect na ulit yun. Ayan. So, another effect of acid rain is on the structures. Ayan. So, etong acid rain, It helps, ayan. Acid's ability to corrode metal, paints, limestone, and marble has accelerated erosion of buildings. Okay, bridges, statues, monuments, tombstone, and automobiles. So, kapag sobrang taas ng acidity ng mga rain, probably yung mga structures, even yung bahay natin, 'di ba? They are made up of stones. Okay? Pagka mataas yung acidity, probably lalambot 'yan at mawawasak yung mga structure. So, that's the effect of acid rain or acid deposition. Okay? And lastly, ayan. So, malapit na talaga class. So, I hope you are still with me, please. Ayan. So, di ba pinangunahan ko naman kayo. This discussion is quite long because siya, siksik, liglig na na discussion about atmosphere. And the last environmental issue that I'm going to discuss is on the ozone depletion. May papakita pa sana ako sa inyong video about the ozone layer, pero sa next next meeting na lang. So, paano nagkakaroon ng ozone depletion? So, what I am referring here, yung ozone layer na matatagpuan sa stratosphere, this is the good ozone. Okay? So, ozone, this is a molecule that consists of 3 oxygen atoms, O3, bonded to one another when the ultraviolet radiation from the sun strikes oxygen molecules in the air. So, this is a naturally occurring, ozone is, ito yung protective ozone. This is a naturally occurring chemical or molecule. Ito po, whenever, di ba, merong oxygen molecule sa ating atmosphere. Kapag yung ultraviolet radiation coming from the sun, tinamaan yung oxygen molecule, ayan, so magi-split yung oxygen gas, then yung isang, isang atom, oxygen atom, will combine to form the ozone. Okay, so eto na po siya. Ayan. So, naka-form siya ng ozone molecule. So, this is the good ozone. Okay? So, good ozone, bakit siya sinabing good ozone? It absorbs much of the sun's harmful radiation. Okay? Almost 97 to 99% of the ultraviolet rays for as long as 2 billion years. So, imagine niyo kung ilang billion years na nagsiserve ang ozone sa ating atmosphere to absorb the sun's harmful radiation. So, imagine niyo if there will be no ozone. So, lahat ng ultraviolet radiation coming from the sun ay ma-absorb natin kapag nawala po ang ozone. Okay? So, ito po yon. Ito yung sinasabi ko na matatagpuan sa stratosphere, 'di ba? Yung bad ozone, yung byproduct ng photochemical smog. So, sa troposphere siya matatagpuan. Samantalang itong protective ozone layer ay sa stratosphere. So, ito yung nagpo-protect sa atin para hindi natin ma-absorb yung ultraviolet radiation coming from the sun. Okay? So, ozone layer serves as the Earth's shields from the harmful effect of ultraviolet radiation, which causes skin cancers, cataracts in humans, and increased mutations in all living things. So, kapag po tinanggal natin itong protective ozone layer na ito, class, okay? So, probably tataas ang rate ng skin cancer kasi nga mataas yung ultraviolet radiation na na-absorb natin. Ayan, and other related health issues. So, life on Earth could not exist without the protective shield of ozone layer. Kasi kung wala klase yung ozone layer, kung lahat ng ultraviolet coming from the sun na-absorb natin, so walang mabubuhay. Okay? So, be thankful to the good ozone kasi kung wala ito, there will be no life on Earth. Okay? Just how we give importance to water. Ayan, so ganyan po ka-importante yung ozone layer sa ating atmosphere. So, alam niyo yun, class, from this point of view, you will imagine how perfect our planet is created by our Almighty God, 'di ba? So kung hindi man kayo naniniwala doon, 'di ba? Gaano ka perfect create yung earth natin, which is favorable for living organisms, na hindi masyadong malapit sa sun, tapos we are protective by this ozone layer, alam niyo yon, and our planet is surrounded by bodies of water. Ayan, so talagang very favorable sa for us to live. But then here we are, human being, paunti-unti nating sinisira yung kagandahan nung nilikha ng ating poong may kapal. Ano po? Because ayan po. So in 1985, ayan, it was discovered. Ayan, so na-discover daw po that a significant thinning of ozone layer over the Antarctic, this area became known as the ozone hole. So nakakalungkot itong itong fact na ito, kasi nagkakaroon na talaga ng thinning of ozone layer. So kapag yan ay numipis, alam niyo naman yung niya, 'di ba? Yung purpose niya. So kakaunti na yung mag-absorb ng UV rays. So tataas na yung mga skin cancers, ayan, cataracts, ayan. So meron nang tinatawag na ozone hole. So sa activity niyo class, there's a data there. So you will analyze the kung ano ba yung relationship ng, tama ba yung, if I'm tama yung nare-recall ko. Basta, there is a particular part there na related siya sa ozone layer. Okay? So, I hope you will enjoy that activity. Ano po? So, ayun. So, therefore, nagkakaroon na class ng ozone layer depletion. Okay? This is one, sabi ko kanina, is one of the most serious environmental issue in our atmosphere. So some regions of the ozone layer showed 95% depletion. Imagine that figure, ha. So may mga regions na talagang nadideplete na yung amount ng ozone. Bakit yun nadideplete? Ayan. So because of these chlorofluorocarbons. Okay? So, chlorofluorocarbons, or mas kilala sila sa mga sa tawag na CFCs, these are strongly implicated in the ozone destruction and depletion. Remember, 'di ba, yung sa first part ng discussion natin about greenhouse gases, CFCs are considered greenhouse gases. Okay? So, etong mga CFCs na to, paano siya nakakabawas ng ozone layer? So, this picture will show you. Okay, so sa mga factories, even sa bahay, whenever we are using products na gumagamit ng mga sprays, ayan, yung mga gumagamit sa aircon, sa refrigerator, ayan, mga sa refrigerant, ayan, sa sasakyan, ayan, so we are releasing chlorofluorocarbons. Then, anong nangyayari whenever we release? So, sunlight breaks down CFCs in the stratosphere. Okay? So, kapag break down ng sunlight, itong mga CFCs, ang sunod na mangyayari na ngayon, it break down products that destroys our own ozone. I think meron yan ditong chemical formula. Ayan. So, example, the chlorine. Ayan. So, etong chlorine, kapag siya ay nag-combine. Ayan, eto na. So, etong chlorine galing sa CFC, 'di ba? Remember, chloro, ibig sabihin may chlorine, fluoro, okay, may fluorine, and merong carbon. So, yung chlorine class, whenever it combines, okay, whenever it combines with the good ozone, nadidestroy po yung ating ozone layer. Okay? Na nagpo-produce na ngayon ng chlorine monoxide, ClO, ayan, and also nagpo-produce din siya ng oxygen gas. Okay, so kahit nagpo-produce siya ng oxygen gas, 'di ba, kailangan natin ng oxygen gas for us to breathe. Okay? Pero class, etong chlorine na to, it is destroying our good ozone. And 'di ba, na-discuss ko kanina of how important the ozone layer is. So, without ozone, there will be no life on Earth kasi inaabsorb niya yung 97% of the ultraviolet radiation coming from the sun. Ano po? So, with that, kapag mataas yung concentration ng chlorofluorocarbon. So, ito po yung chemical reaction na nangyayari. Dadami ang chlorine monoxide, this is a pollutant, okay? Dadami din yung oxygen gas available sa sa atmosphere, pero yung amount of ozone, kaya siya sinabing ozone depletion, nababawasan, nadideplete because of the chemical reaction chemical reaction happening in this and in our atmosphere. Ano po? So, sana na intindihan nyo to. Ano po, class? So, chlorofluorocarbons is a group of greenhouse gases that have been used in aerosols. So, nabanggit ko na to kanina, such as hairspray cans, yung mga pinang-i-spray natin, sa mga fridge, ayan, yung mga refrigerant, and in making foam plastics. Okay po, so usually, yan yung mga sources, class, ng mga chlorofluorocarbons. So, they are found in small amount in the atmosphere. Small amount lang siya. So, pag nadamihan, so yun po yung magiging effect niya. Madideplete niya yung kanyang yung ating ozone layer. So, no CFCs, environmentally safe. Merong dito, convention, tama ba? Montreal Protocol, may protocol na it's an agreement na binan yung CFCs. We will discuss this in detail sa susunod. Ano po? So, kasi, ayan na po, they are dangerous greenhouse gases because small amount can trap large amounts of heat and can destroy the ozone layer. So, aside, class, sa dinidestroy niya yung ating ozone layer, etong CFC, it can also trap large amount of heat. Okay? That can contribute to global warming, that can cause climate change. Okay? So, ganun po ka-dangerous etong CFCs, although small amount lang siya, but it creates a significant effect. Ano po? So, I'm almost done. Ayan. So far, sana nanonood pa kayo until this time. So, I'm done discussing the different environmental issues related to atmosphere. So, again, we will discuss in details global warming and climate change. Okay? In a separate discussion. So, I'm done discussing air pollution and health problems, acid deposition, and ozone depletion. Okay? Also, to give you a recap, in this discussion, I discussed the different layers of atmosphere. Don't forget the mnemonics, TSMT, troposphere, strato, mesothermo, and exosphere. So, these are the different layers. Dito matatagpuan sa tropo ang bad ozone, yung good ozone matatagpuan sa stratosphere. Okay, don't forget that. Okay, so we also discuss, the composition of the Earth's atmosphere. So, particularly, binigyan natin ng diin etong 1%. So, etong greenhouse gases because this 1% plays a significant role in our environment. Okay, we're done with the system of its composition and on our next synchronous, okay, after nitong week na to, next pa to, we'll discuss the system of its solutions to issues. Yung mga issues na diniscuss ko, we will try to suggest ways on how we are going to solve that issues. And in details, the system of climate change. Because this is a very big subsystem under atmosphere. So, we need to discuss this separately. Ano po? Although may idea na kayo, okay? So, we will discuss that in detail. So, we're done with the layer, we're done with the composition, we're done with the pollutants, and we're done with the different environmental issues. So, sana class, ang dami yung natutuhan. Sana nakuha nyo, na-absorb nyo yung mga diniscuss ko kasi it will give you somehow idea on how our atmosphere is serving our environment. Okay, and in the future, gaya nung palagi kong sinasabi, maybe some of you can develop a technology that can help us in protecting our very own atmosphere. So, with that, I'm done, class. Ayan. So, if you are still watching this video up until this time, I would like to congratulate you and to appreciate you because you took I took your almost 2 hours in listening to this discussion, pero ang alam kong sure ako madami kayong natutuhan dito. Okay? So please be ready with a Q&A on our next synchronous schedule. Ano po? So it's part of your participation in the finals. Ano po? Participation and recitation na din. Ayan. So, sana makasagot kayo. Ano po? Because it's a pure Q&A about this, the things that I've discussed in this pre-recorded video. So, with that, thank you very much once again, and may you all have a good day. And see you on our next synchronous schedule. And goodbye. Thank you very much.